If they don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we'll wait on that one for a while, see what we get. Anything else on that project?
Well, internally, everything in channel 11 has been cleaned, replaced. The lighting has been replaced, the ceiling tiles have been replaced, the carpet has been sanitized,
Good.
but now it's all exterior.
All right. Thank you.
By the way, I wanted Jeff to give the full report for two reasons. One is so you begin to understand the magnitude of dollars that are going to have to go in to handle things that are not covered by anything more than normal maintenance to the owner. The second part is the amount of time that he's spent since this, and as we discover one problem and try to repair it, we're now picking up on other things going forward. And he's done a great job with it, and I give him credit for it. But I want you to be aware that that 5150 is only one part of going to be a bigger budget item as we go forward. And begin thinking about that, because what the assessors recommended was a good overlay. And I'm afraid that when we look at what it costs to operate this building long after I'm gone, you're going to say, I'm glad we have something to rely upon so that we not only can pay our bill, but we can report out why we spent it.
All right, item of communication, fiscal year end budget summary report. Any comments? Town manager?
Just want to give it to you. I think the report speaks for itself, and I know that as you as budget makers coming up in January and February, along with your town manager at that time, you're going to be asking yourselves, well, where did we have surplus monies? Where did we miss the targets? And this should help you understand that a little bit better. Crystal balls are never perfect, but a year-end report tells you a whole lot. Just remember what you went through ending June 30th, because it may repeat itself somewhere else, and you have to have at least working knowledge when you appropriate or request the appropriation of funds.
All right, so if we do have any questions on that, we can bring that up at the next meeting, and we can also email the town manager or ask him if you have any questions on that report.
I just have a question right now. So
Yeah.
is this all the bills for the June, ending June? Are there any more outstanding bills anywhere?
I would have to ask, but my understanding is that this was
This is-
put together based on the expected bills and the bills that we've received.
Okay,
But I will get clarification.
okay, thank you.
Okay, just a point for everybody, the assessors met and we set the tax rate of $16.70 for 23-24. All right, and then the town manager, I believe, you proposed to include an information memo without going tax bill, explain changes in the homestead valuations for seniors, and I believe we passed that out at the last meeting. We had that, and any questions on that, you can ask him.
Just a quick question, and I missed it. Yes, the assessors did set the tax rate. What was the rate you quoted?
$16.70.
Yes. Just want to make sure I have not been giving the wrong information.
All right, new business. Department head, we have the fire report here.
Yes, the fire chief dropped this off and said he may or may not be able to make the meeting, but felt that he wanted you to know exactly what their month of May through July were. It's a longer than normal period that he would report on, but I think he's giving you a good understanding of what the responses have been.
And the road commissioner's not with us tonight.
He's on vacation.
He's on vacation,
Yeah.
okay? So Jeff, we can get back to you. You can start again. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna continue with the bad news,
Okay.
since you wanna. So, back to Old Point Ave here. We have the karate class upstairs. We really need to consider moving them. Reason being is the light fixtures up there, above them and below them, are becoming damaged. They're the old fluorescent lights, and I actually have a quote here to repair the lights, and you have as well. The stairwell was quoted before, the second floor hallway. What they would do is just retro the existing lights, put in different ballasts for the LED lights. The same with the rooms upstairs and the historical society as well. The karate class where they're moving around, bouncing around, whatever they're doing, those lights hang. They're not just affixed to the ceiling, so they're on rods and they've been moving around a lot. If those bulbs fall and break and hit the ground, we've got a hazmat issue. If they're back over here where they started, probably wouldn't have that issue. But there's no mats in there for them. They should provide their own if they're gonna be using that. I don't know if they're using the carpet as their mats or whatever, but that might be something you wanna consider.
Well, that's something that town manager and you can work on to get that.
Yeah, I have no idea who's the contact over there though.
I don't either.
Maybe Tim Curtis might have an idea.
Yeah. Maybe ask Tim who the contact person is.
You could ask him, but there's probably something in the paperwork in the office of somebody who usually signs some kind of an agreement with them. So I would think that somebody at the town office would have access to that folder. Which is the thought.
Yes.
See if we can move him somewhere. I mean, there's gotta be a little bit of room here.
Right. But then again,
Do they pay, they must pay, right? They must pay a fee. I guess I didn't know that we rented out the
I have to be honest and say I'm completely ignorant to how all of this is, and that leads into our next item on the agenda.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Jeff?
absolutely.
All right, let's roll.
So we've got the bid for the electrical. Discussed the karate. Heat pumps in the town office. When I started, Tim Curtis asked me to put heat pumps in the building. I've contacted Bob's Gas Fuel. We've gotten a price from them. The electrical in the town office is maxed out. So they would have to put in a whole new service just for heat pumps. Then they also need to go someplace where there's room. Up on the roof is the best place to put them. The wiring, the service would come from on the fire department side, and the ladder, there has to be an affixed ladder to the building that's securable. That would go over by the fire department's door as well. So, let's see, the old air conditioning units would have to come out. And you could put them up for auction. I mean, they're old, they still work, but they're old. You can donate them to nonprofits in the area, or sell them. It's totally up to you what you want to do with them. It's, town-owned property, so. Let's see, we've been in the process of installing additional cameras around the building. That's ongoing, it's almost complete. And maintenance-wise, I think we're done with that. Let's see what else we have here. So back to my classes. I've passed my residential building code, my internal plumbing, and today I passed my subsurface wastewater disposal exam.
Awesome.
The next one is legal issues and enforcement techniques. And then I found out there's even more tests that I need to take as well. So it'll be interesting. I was hoping to have them all done by the end of summer. However, they've added more tests, more exams. So
Good shot, yeah.
working it.
So on these heat pumps, are we gonna get some quotes on those more than just Bob, or are we gonna just, have we determined, I mean, we have the money for that in our budget?
That came from Tim, but it's,
We have to, we're putting together a list of questions for Tim.
Yeah.
One of them is to keep you informed that those heat pumps are not gonna come in very cheap.
Yeah.
And with everything else that's happening at this location, where you're going to be at in terms of the timeline to get those installed. Will it be this fiscal year or another fiscal year?
and we've already taken care of the rebates, they come with rebates too, so all that paperwork's already taken care of.
Sounds good. Any other questions for the code enforcement officer?
Insurance-wise for this building, with the incident that happened, it's all up to the finance right now. But I believe all the bills have come in, I'm not 100% on that, but I think they're all in.
Is there any insurance coverage for this digging up?
No,
No?
How much, so you do have any idea how much the bill is for, so far, that have come in?
I don't.
We will get you a reconciliation of expenses thus far due to the water damage, and so on. But I think the purpose is to keep you informed. You already have now, on top of everything else, 5150, and that's just for doing the line trench work in the property proper. You'll have to check out with the sewer district. That could be another 5,000 plus or minus. It adds up starting with that.
Question, with regard to the freeze-up that we had this past winter downstairs, there was a conversation about windows and how they just opened, and that's why the window blew them open or something. Those have been secured on?
It wasn't the wind that blew something open, it was ice fell off the roof and I guess knocked into the window and opened it thusly, from what I was told. They're old windows. The best thing to do would be screw them shut.
Louis?
Jeff, wouldn't it be better to, couldn't we eliminate a good portion of those windows?
We can board them up, absolutely.
Yeah, because we don't need all those windows down
No.
there. And to replace those windows would be very costly. So, see what you, let us know what you think about how many should be boarded up and what, you know, what airflow we should need down there. It's,
The windows, we've had a request from Tim Curtis before, that we should look into replacing windows not only in Old Point Ave, but at the town office. I've asked for quotes from a couple different companies, and that's gonna have to go in next year's budget. That's,
yeah, I understand that, yeah. These old buildings are taxing us pretty hard lately.
I have ideas, but I don't think you're gonna hear them, you wanna hear them.
Right now, probably not.
I would too, Jeff.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All right, number 2, discussion of the building use agreement policy.
2 or 3 meetings ago, we got into this whole subject matter, and as a result of it, I put together, reviewed the policy and tried to improve it and also make it more formal. And it's not something I'll be able to complete, but the incoming manager and yourselves will have a format and potentially a path forward. Overly simplified, there's a use agreement that I put together that is fairly stiff. It's only 2 pages, but it has, I think, the basic elements to protect yourselves as the landlord versus the lessees. Now, a lessee can also be one that doesn't pay, but you're allowed to use. But nonetheless, there should be a complete policy to cover that, and you have one. It's subsection 738-2, municipal conference room and fee for government use. So I worked off of that to create this. because it's no longer just the conference room. You're talking a whole building, and potentially any other buildings that you may have in the future, and spaces that you may currently have that may be converted. To that, I've also created a form for an application so that you can judge the information and potentially whether there be a fee or not a fee. I'm not so sure you want to, I am sure that you want to formalize this going forward. And as I go out the door, this may be a path forward for you to follow and to formalize. A use agreement may also be somewhat modified if you allow for your streets to be used to some degree for ATV related. It doesn't take much stretch to incorporate that as a policy. And remember, a policy you have the control over. It could be a test period, and then you may say the policy doesn't work, let's modify it. So you've got some flexibility, but I wanted you to have this in hand so you can make some decisions going forward.
Any questions on what anybody's read so far? Alright, so we will bring this up again at a later meeting.
At your discretion.
A little more formalized and get it.
And I would strongly urge that every occupant of this building have to go through this process.
Yes. Alright, number 3 we've already done. Number 4, request for reimbursement under the matching grant program 2022 for the Moore Farm. Looking for a motion to, and they have met all the requirements.
Yes.
I make a motion to grant the Moores the matching grant.
Second.
Alright, we have a motion and a second to grant the Moores their matching grant for 2022.
Do you need the amount or?
What was the amount?
1267.
$1,200, $1,212.67. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. We're going to skip over number 5 for right now. We're going to go into executive. I'd like to have a motion to go into executive session to consider. Actually, I'm going to do
Citizens' concerns.
citizens' concerns. Citizens' concerns. Anybody? Citizens? All right. Select board concerns, Mr. Moody?
None.
Mr. Bean?
None.
Estes? The only concern I have is I'd like to wish Mrs. Estes a happy birthday today.
Please say.
I'm a young 29, just so you know.
Yes.
And I'm holding,
I'm surprised she was allowed to run for office at her age.
Yeah,
She's so young.
this is the point where she goes, she's older than I am, so we're in good shape.
Not going there.
Kim and Laney let me know this.
I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRS Section 406A.
I'll make that motion. What you said.
All right? Second? Second. All right, a motion and a second to go into executive session to consider personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRS Section 406A. All those in favor? All in favor? We are in executive session at 6:55. We will be out soon. Out of executive session at 7:18. Looking for motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was concentrating on
She's right here.
I would like to nominate Denise Ducharme as town manager of Madison, pending an outcome of a positive background check, and under the terms and conditions of the contract that both parties have agreed to.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve Denise Ducharme as our new town manager, pending the background check.
And the second was,
Kathy.
thank you.
And with the terms and conditions of the contract. Any questions? Seeing no questions, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. We have a new town manager. Congratulations, Denise. Congratulations. All right, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Who did the motion?
I did.
Okay. Second?
All in favor?
Thank you, Sean.
Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:20.